Hello?
Ads are starting. Dylan will continue the conversation after the ads are over. Thank you for supporting the stream. There goes the channel. Maribel Jade just raided with 23 pairs of eyes.
Hello?
Welcome in, Raiders. Howdy!
Hello there.
Hello.
Hello there.
Thank you for the 14 long months of subscribing, Gary1638.
Welcome on in, Raiders. Just want to say hello to everybody. Just finishing up the tail end of the camera stuff for this morning so that I am not showing nearly as much of my desk as I usually do. Because sometimes, you know, things just don't quite want to listen. Apply. Zoom in again. Apply. Then I can readjust where things are. Perfect. All right. Okay, let's get a little bit less desk. It's been a little chaotic at our house just with, like, me trying to figure out where all the wrapping supplies are going and stuff. There we go. That's close enough. It's not perfect, but it'll do. All right. So let's go. Wow, I had that way wrong. Okay, let's go live. Hello, everybody, and Disorganized Me is here. So I slept through What actually happened was I completely forgot I was streaming today, or had plans to stream today. And so I let myself try Disney Dreamlight Valley yesterday, which for my personality type is incredibly addictive. So, yeah. Well after 5 a.m., I went to bed and thought, oh, no big deal, I'll just sleep in, nothing going on. I mean, I have pies to make and cranberry sauce to make and stuff, and I've got that to do today, as well as help out with the cleaning and stuff. But yeah, completely and utterly forgot that I needed to actually work, actually do stuff today that did not involve those things. So yeah. Okay, so let's roll back here and see who came in with the raid. If I can actually get my other chat window to work, that would help. Too many things going on. Alright. While we do that, I've got the train coming up, so this is how far we've gotten so far. And we need to get that one finished. The angle you're going to see today as we build is a little on the warped side. And I did not get around to making the booklet into a PDF, so we're going to just wing it. Yeah. Just kidding. Actually, I'm going to put it on the desk here. Just... yeah. It got kind of warped, so... and apologies in advance for all of the reflections that are going to come off this one. But we are starting bag 2, and then, as I said, I will definitely get to saying hello to all the fine raiders that came in with Jade's raid. That was very much appreciated. There's the cowcatcher thing, and the staples popped. Okay, well, this is why I like PDFs. There we go. All right. Bag 2. It's not just any rock, it just happens to have my daughter's writing on it, and she can't spell at that age. I've had the rock for a while. Bag 2. All right. Got all the bits and bobs. I can think now. Sort of, maybe. So let's roll it back and just see who came in. I saw that Neon came in first. Oh, yes. Okay. And was the first person here. And then I would love to know what everybody's been up to. But in the meantime, good morning to Jay and to... oh my. Ray came in fairly quickly there. To Neon and to Jade. Well, thank you very, very much for bringing all your fine folks by. And then to ITT Tom. Hello. For some reason, I was surprised when I saw it wasn't Tom that was doing the raid. So yeah, that floored me just a little bit. And let's see, good morning, or yeah, good afternoon, even for me now. To Jade, as I said. Bird, good to see you. And all the fine folks that come with that, including Gary. I think it's all the loud ones at the moment. And Fantastic Shock Fox is on his way off to a physio appointment. Hey there, Mickey. Good to see you too. Dave was the first to say official hello, and Neon got the first one here redeemed. So that's how that worked out. Alrighty. So if someone could tell me, either Jade herself or someone else, tell me what Jade's community was up to today, that would be very, very much appreciated. And see how things go. Alright. So, see if I can get my feet back under me. Yeah, overslept, and then I'm looking at the clock going, it's 20 minutes to the top of the hour. What am I supposed to be doing right now? Something feels off. And then I realized, no, I didn't just be an hour late. I was like an hour and 40 minutes late. So yeah, not good. Alrighty, so deep breath. Realize I have a title error. Fix that, and then we are off to the races. So it's going to say Winter Market Stall, but that's totally wrong. We are working on... it says Lego Creator. It's a GWP. There's your bad angle again. So we've got the Winter Holiday Train. So I'm going to rename that part of the stream just so that I don't get myself confused when I'm looking at things in the corner. It's fashionably late. No. I run on DST, which means DST is Delenn Standard Time, which is never anything but non-standard. Properties. There we go. Enter. of the day. Great. That looks better. All right. Not quite centered, but we'll go with it. Yep, we'll go with it. Okay, so, day 2. It's not fashionable to be late. Otherwise, time plastic or time insensitive people of the world would be running the show, and we certainly do not. Okay. So, where we start here, they want us to put some plates and stuff together. I'm going to do just a wee bit of a color sort. So, just a random question in chat is a bit of a, I would say, by show of response. How many of you really are staying in your sort of place of residence, like your, I guess, town of residence, for the holidays? And how many of you are going out of town to visit people? Growing up, my family used to always go out of town. I'm just going to close off question of the day. My family used to always go out of town for Christmas every single year. We would go and visit my grandmother in a province to the east of us. You're not even leaving your residence. Well, neither am I, actually. Well, that's not quite true. But we used to go out of town, and the drive was always so much fun. I know it sounds crazy, but like even the years that we had blizzards to drive through, I actually overall think it was fun because it was one of those families that at the time, felt cozy and warm, and it made the choice for the most part, not 100%, but for the most part, to do that whole semi-tense, try hard to not argue and fight with each other thing. So I miss maybe that. But it also felt really, really weird this year. I think we talked about it a little bit last week, where because my father was a magician as his side business, in addition to his regular job, that growing up, Christmas was chaos. Christmas season, was chaos at our house. When I was young, of course, I couldn't be left at home alone, just like young. You gotta go. My mother was the driver for the outfit, so that they could just pull up in front of the building my dad needed to be in, and he'd hop out and unload stuff, and off we go. And that would be, anywhere between 6 to 8 weeks before the actual day. Was every weekend, often sometimes both Saturdays and Sundays, we'd have up to, let's see, the show itself was about 45 minutes. Travel time usually anywhere from a half hour to 45, so basically you're talking ballparking 2 hours a piece, and we could have six shows a day. It was nuts. So anyway, didn't do the Christmas shopping. So once I got off school, it was like my mom would come home from her office job, or my dad would come home from his office job, and we would go straight to the mall. Or Friday afternoons, because my mom would get them off a little bit early. Then we would go out, we would bomb it through. Things like one of my grandparents in town didn't drive, but at least lived in the same city. So we made a huge deal out of going to one of the local, we call it a craft fair. Our heritage park in our city would have sort of a classic Christmas market type thing. So stuff was commercial, but it was also old-timey theme. And she would take the bus to get there. My parents would drop us off. And then so we'd spend the day doing that with her, and then I'll get picked up by my parents afterwards. So that was part of it, but it was just always go, go, go. So as an adult, I never really had experience of much control over the holidays. That's probably good enough that I can find things, so let's roll. So I never had a whole lot of control over the holidays, meaning then that this year theoretically should feel comfortable, because the kids didn't get to do much until their last day was Friday, which is really weird because for previous years it's almost always been the entire week leading up to Christmas has been no school. I think I would say unless the holiday fell at the end of the week, in which case you would just get like a few days before that. But this year it was quite literally like right up to the end. So we just kept waiting for that whole kicking in of, okay, everybody's got the time now, time to do the malls and stuff, but it never came. And even when Fantastic Sherlock Fox took some time off before Christmas, or like he's on time off right now, but when he did that, he and I went out to do some of the shopping, and it felt really weird because all over the city, things are far less crowded than we expected. Now, we're aware that that's twofold. One is that there is no, what's it called? Like everybody's got the no holiday thing going. There's probably a lot of people that have to work right up to the end, so they're busy, busy, busy. There's also, influence from online retail. And then we've got, Rocket. We're going to rock that instruction piece. There's influence from online retail, but then there's also the situation where, it's been rough years for some people, and there just isn't as much. But the flip side of that, though, is that I'm hearing reports, unfortunately, of Santa Claus having had a rough time with his ability to obtain stuff for gifts this year. So I could imagine that this past weekend, I didn't go out shopping, thank heavens, but I could imagine this past weekend being a little bit crazy for people who realize that they want something, they want to be able to help out Santa because he may have difficulty bringing all the stuff on his sleigh that he needs to. And so they're out dealing with that because otherwise some of the other stuff from Santa won't be here in time, and nobody really wants to disappoint the littles. So yeah, it's kind of it's neat because our postal system is screwed up. Honestly, these days, everybody's national postal system is a mess. But ours is a mess, and it was legislated back to work from a strike last Tuesday, I believe, was the first day they were supposed to be back. And we were reading that for every day they were on strike, there is approximately 5 business days, 5 realism days, worth of catch-up for them to do. And they were on strike for over a month. It was just the 19th, I think it was, that they started accepting packages from corporate entities. So, for example, if there was a small business that usually massively does their shipping via Canada's national postal carrier, they were just able to resume dropping packages off on Friday. Like, there was actually a dead stop in that nothing was even being received because the shops that normally act as postal outlets, in addition to the standalone postal outlets, their staff, like even if the shop decided to staff the counter to accept packaging and stuff, the postal people wouldn't pick it up. So it was just a no-go. There was just no option. And yeah, rough. But so I mean, they're picking it up, and I'm just hoping that there'll be some really kind individuals at the other end who, I know there's a lot of machines involved in the system now, but I'm hoping there's some kind of individuals at the other end who, if they happen to, in the process, spot a package as specifically decorated to be marked as from the man, that they try their best to expedite that. But in any case, I miss the travel. I miss the friendship that we had. My family is I'm 1/4 Norwegian, so that makes my mom half. And so for years and years and years, the family has done, on her side, a version of a Norwegian Christmas thing, in that we'd have Christmas, so people would travel, and that's part of what made the whole travel thing worth it, is because it was a multiple day affair. So Christmas Eve, would be held at my aunt's. Well, actually, sorry, pardon me. Let me correct that. At my uncle's, and his wife would typically do a beef roast, and that for dinner. You know, with the whole 9 yards of fixings, as in mashed potatoes and gravy and Yorkshire puddings and all that jazz. I think her family's side. I remember. I think there's Danish in there somewhere. But as they would host that one, and then and Christmas Eve was our family gift opening. So I've always had family stuff come, like, you know, from mom and dad and so on, before stuff from Santa or anything like that, Saint Nick, etc. We'd open that stuff first. But what do we do? Dinner. Then there'd be a split because because some would go to evening church services, and some would not. And for a while, that was age based. And what I mean is that all the aunts and grandmas and whatever would go to church. Mostly the guys didn't. There's a couple of them that did, but most of the guys didn't go to church. What am I doing here? Oh, it's a sub-step. I was trying to figure out why it's showing parts that aren't on that step. Okay, there we go. But most of the guys didn't go to the church services. They would sit around and talk. So it was sort of like, that's when they could talk about the politics or whatever else they wanted to, that the ladies usually would scowl at them for talking about. And then after that, we'd come back, and we'd usually go to the early church service because there was two. There's an early one and a late one. And the early one was like 7 o'clock or something. So then we'd move on to usually some sort of activity. So frequently, because it was middle of flat nowhere, Saskatchewan. So if you picture your stereotype, most people don't know much about Saskatchewan. I mean, I've talked about it before, but if you picture your stereotype of what people think of as, like, I don't know, prairie Idaho or snowed in Kansas, maybe, I guess. We did have some hills and stuff, but on the farm, we would actually, like, go sledding after that. So everybody would go, quite literally. The ladies would get changed out of their fancy outfits. Some of the older ones, like my grandmother or whatever, would stay behind and be warm. But the younger ones would all get changed out of their fancy outfits. We'd all pull on snow pants or skidoo suits or whatever, like everybody. And then we'd all head out to the hill at the farm and just go sledding down the hill. There's been a few years where the sled was pulled voluntarily by a police dog, because my cousin's German Shepherd would come and insist on wanting to help, whether you liked it or not. Good chance to roll a Geek Out. Yep. Geek Out has rolled to 4 shows on which a scientist is a recurring character. So I can answer a few of those, but I might as well keep on rambling for now. No, I blanked. Oh, yes. So anyway, we'd go and do that, and that was great fun. 1 year, I think we mentioned this one before, we got dangerous. Far fewer of us were involved, but what happened was the aunts and grandmothers and stuff decided they were going to go to church, and we were going to go sledding while they were at church, which is fine, no big deal. But we decided that year that the kids didn't want to go to church because we were early teens by then, I guess. Would hang out, the cousins would all hang out together, and we'd all go sledding to sort of, quote-unquote, save time. And so we went out while they were gone. Well, we decided that it was a good idea to... good one, Jay. Big Bang Theory for sure fits that one. We decided we were going to go down to the frozen slough, so massive puddle, I guess? Kind of pondish, but not deep enough. Slough. It's spelled slough, but like a lot of the English language, it's messed. So we'd go down to we went down to the slough with a 4x4 Jeep, I guess? I don't remember what brand it was, but it was something like that, like an SUV. and it was quite high, thankfully. It was not a pickup truck, I do remember that. But anyways, we did that, and somebody took the wooden sled. We're like, okay, well, it's a one-way trip, whatever, no big deal, we'll just get towed behind. That was the original plan, was to slowly trawl around on the frozen pond behind this truck. Well, someone very quickly produced a water ski tow rope for that purpose. No big deal. Tow it off the back of the truck. You got a wooden sled, four adults, I think, was the size. So we had a bunch of us on there. The younger ones always went with older ones, quote unquote, for safety. Definitely no helmets back in the day. And we got on this sled thing, and they started going nice and slow. It was fine, Then they started running out of space. So the Jeep, the vehicle stopped or slowed down to a stop so that they wouldn't, slam on the brakes or whatever. And I remembered a couple times, though, I remember they slowed to a stop and then they didn't make the turn. They just started curving it because they didn't want to pull the ski tow rope and throw us in a drift. So we started making the turn. Well, they stopped early enough. Someone in the back of the sled shouted, "Lay back!" And we didn't even have time to go, what? We just did. Because the tail lights were coming really fast. So we laid back and we ended up going under the SUV and up and out the other side. And I remember looking around and having the headlights square in my face. Yeah, that part didn't last. So what they ended up doing after that was we picked up a little bit of speed, and the vehicle would make it slow down and turn rather than waiting for people, so that if that sort of thing happened again, we'd be completely out of the way. Oh man. It wants me to clip this on the side. You can see what I've done. But because it's in the other pieces, it may have to come apart. Good one, Delenn. Anyhow, so, yeah. The grandparents, when they came back, were not impressed, as you can imagine. Very much not impressed. But I mean, we were cold and had enough sledding by then, so that was semi-fine by us. But yeah. But what they were doing was we took turns being on the sled, and they would ride it, or they would drive around pulling the sled behind, and then when they did get towards the edges, the vehicle would slow down and turn, and then the water ski tow rope, as you would imagine, we'd all just get very slowly whiplashed around at the end. But of course, when you're on the sled, you can't tell that you're going as slow as you really are. But it was a blast. I had a lot of fun. So those are the sorts of things we do, and then afterwards we'd come back, hot chocolate served all around, etc., etc. People who were coming back from church at that point were still wearing their nice shoes and whatnot. And then all the family would start opening gifts. Usually the kids first, just because kids always have more gifts. But we'd make a point of having everybody in the entire room have one gift passed out to them before they're allowed to open. And then we just started sort of basically the wave of gift opening. So we didn't necessarily stop, but a lot of the kids would get to open first, and it would just go around the room. But it was usually kids more than the parents. And you could start to tell when someone became a teenager or was moving out to college because, thanks, Gran and Grandpa, you gave me a crock pot. It's that, and the kids would be like, oh, grown. So we had those sorts of things, and that was Christmas Eve. And I miss that. Even the years that it was too bad weather for us to travel, I miss that. Still, there's a song that I'm not going to regale you with because it's, well, for one, it's copyrighted, and two, I don't know all the lyrics. But if you ever get the chance to listen to it, I'd say look it up. It's just fun. It's by an artist by the name of Kirk Talley, on his album Tally Ho Ho Ho, and yes, that's as cheesy as it sounds. He's one of those guys that in North America is known for, how would I put it? In my house we used to call it the church circuit, but that's not really the most polite way of saying things. But he's getting up there now, so I don't know if he's still doing music or not. Okay. They show the piece is going to go in the back, but they don't show how high that one goes, so I'm going to move to the next step and then see. But yeah, so if you get to the chance, Kirk Talley and his album Tally Ho Ho Ho, the one I'm thinking of in this particular case is I think the title's in the chorus, but I'm not fully sure. But it's like I'd still like to go to Grandma's house this Christmas. And it talks about silly things like, people sitting around after dinner playing cards with cousin Mel and so on. And no, in this case, Mel's a guy. It's not our fine Minneapolis Mel. But it's sort of a fun one. It's semi-nostalgic, and it reminds me a little bit of the stuff that we used to do. Okay, Christmas. Rain. Don't be silly. Low? No, that's not right. High? So we've got a ridge in the back. Right, so that's what's posing problems for getting things put on the train. So we've got fewer height choices, I guess. I'm gonna go with this. I wouldn't have known that one. TV shows with the scientist of a recurring character. I will add quite quickly. CSI, Crime Scene Investigation. I had two more at the edge, tip of my tongue, and then I forgot. Well, I'll throw out Diagnosis Murder, although that's partly just because I'm a Dick Van Dyke fan. And an actual, see, here's the thing. Actual Scientist. Was a character. So, I guess you could say Bill Nye the Science Guy on his TV show? Maybe? NCIS? Yep. Bones? I mean, if you want to count, medical science, then I guess you can start going all the way down to, ER and Doogie Howser and, all those kinds of things. But I think we're going to roll it. For named fictional fish. Named fictional fish. I can think of two. Okay, three. Technically, Flipper is not a fish. But, yeah. Nemo and Dory, and the other one I was thinking of was Flounder from the Little Mermaid. And I don't know if anybody else can come up with a fourth one. Smoke on here. Pardon me. Right. Go. At the front end of the train on this one. Got a flat circle. Oh, well, that's easy enough. With a gold leaf. Excellent. All right, Gary. Just because you redeemed it, you also need to type join to get in on that one. Can't even spell. Okay. This. Yes, it would indeed. Sharks or fish? Sharks or fish for sure. Congratulations, Jay! Jay's the new champion of the hill using the plunger. Good for mods. No, I was kidding. Oh, come on. Okay, that section goes on top of the other thing. And I'm just being too... It's slidey. Like, it just doesn't want to... There we go. All right.
2, 4, 6, 8. Everybody hydrate.
Everybody hydrate. Excellent, Gary. We do indeed need to hydrate. So, as always, grab your tea, your coffee, your soda, your juice, your cider. There you go. Cider. That would work. Yeah, I am indeed slouching while I work, so sit up straight. Okay, let me just make sure I haven't missed any other ones. So, hydrate and posture check. We're good. Itchy nose. There we go. All right. So, train. Now we're working on the first train. Train car that goes in behind. I sort of wish I had a bigger rock, but I kind of don't have. A, don't have one, and B, kind of wish I don't. Let's see if a tripod will work better. Yeah, that works better. Sorry for the brightness, but there. That does it. Alright. Geek Out's kind of in the way, so I'm just going to slide this back. Oops. And tripods. Gee. They roll. Who would have thunk it? Alright. To the left, a bit to the left. Right. A little to... Jay was slouching a little to the left. Alright, okay. I can get this to stay enough that we can see what we're doing without actually having a ton of things in the way. So it wants us to put... That was kind of a weird instruction, to bother putting the first one on separate. Why not just say put 6 on? Lego? Was your designer bored? So anyways, making it short, like drawing that whole Christmas thing to a bit of a better place. So we'd have that Christmas Eve, and that was worth driving out for. Christmas Day, when I was little, it would be at my grandmother's house. Although it was a small town house, it's farming town, so it was definitely much more chill. They had it's one of those weird houses that, you know, like a lot of the older ones do in towns, they grow over time. So I never got to see it when it wasn't the full floor plan. But apparently, over the years, the porch got screened in, and we hardly ever used it for anything. So we'd play like hide and seek, and I'd be able to sit out there for hours because nobody would look. It was kind of frustrating, but then you'd have like the living room was on one side of the dining room, and the kitchen was on the other side of the dining room. And as part of the additions, my grandmother's master bedroom came off the opposite side of the kitchen, sort of an oddball, old-fashioned thing. So we'd have Christmas in the middle there, but by the time you spread out the dining table, we'd have, oh geez, at least a dozen, if not more. I'm just doing the math here. One for the host, plus 8, it's 9 there, 6. I think we had nearly 20 people in attendance, not all around the same dining table, but a lot of them. So you can imagine why we had a kids' table, you know, where the teens are supposed to look after the really little ones, but for the most part, yeah, we had a kids' table, because we had, my grandmother had 4 kids, then of course each of them had a spouse, and then two families had 3 kids, and 2 of them had 2, so yeah, so there's the 10 grandkids. You can imagine that it was a bit of a madhouse, but after dinner, so Christmas morning we'd sleep in and whatever, but then we'd have to help prepping the house, and that was when you had to sort of stop the running play in the house. You weren't supposed to run in the house anyways, but Grandma was generally pretty tolerant. We had to stop the running play once you started putting the table out, because the table, I have proof, the table will bloody you. If you hit the corner of the table, it will bloody you. So when I was younger, we used to be able to run. I'm not supposed to, I always get yelled at, but we would run from one end of the living room all the way through the dining room and then straight into the kitchen all the way up to the back porch and then run back again. Sort of tag games and stuff, and try not to crash into people. So anyways, we'd sleep in and then have to just deal with that. But then we'd have breakfast, and after breakfast, even though we'd come right past the tree and right past the stockings and everything else, then we would open the stockings after breakfast. And that allowed everybody to be chilled and relaxed and usually have the kids burn off some energy, but we'd get to open, as in like not just unwrap one of the things from the night before prior to breakfast, just so that we'd have something to do, stay out of the way. And then after that it was stockings time and, Santa gifts and all that jazz. So then middle of the day was basically setting up for the evening, maybe playing with something that we'd opened, and then the evening was just dinner. And after dinner there was cards. I remember that one distinctly. I learned some interesting games as a kid. It wasn't like rude or anything like that, but we used to play one called, I think it was called Big Bertha, and I wish I could find the rules to that. Not because anything other than nostalgia. Probably. Let me double check, Jay. Good call. Probably. Yep, you are right. Of course, that would make sense, because they want to fence things nicely, not sandwich it. Okay. Well, I clipped my nails, so now I need the brick separator more than usual. Come on. Okay, well, let's do it the other way then. This one. And then... Really done. Okay. Well... Do it this way then. The Technic pins are made long enough, thankfully. So these ones do go inwards. And these ones go outwards. So more like this. Yeah. It's a good thing we've got Jay. But that's actually also why when I don't have a PDF, it's worth it to put the paper booklet out, because people still catch my mistakes. So we'd play cards and stuff like Big Bertha and Whist, and that's where I learned to play hearts as a kid. Sometimes they'd break up and play threesomes of cribbage. And that's what got me to learn crib as a kid. I wouldn't have wanted to, because it was like one of the ones that I generally considered, it was the old people's game until I learned it, and then I realized it wasn't. It was the old people's game because it was too complicated and math-wise for the kids, and I'm still terrible at crib, but I play it anyways. Yeah. It's the kind of things you hear about, when the older set these days talk about, I went to bridge, went to play bridge. Thankfully, we never played bridge at Christmas. That would probably have bored the pants off of some of the guys. But if you wanted a rousing game of Romoli or Big Bertha or there was one, I'm trying to remember what it was. It was all about, they bet pennies, because of course it was loaned pennies. Nobody really wanted to gamble. But yeah, you bet pennies. And the funny part was, of course, as a kid, the whole thing, it was maybe, I don't know, for the whole table, maybe under $10 in rolls of pennies used for the game. And so if you were good and behaved yourself, then you usually got a cut of the pennies, because the teens didn't care by that point. Like, the older teens didn't care, and the kids who were under 10 were like, yay, we got some of the pennies. It was kind of stupid, because it doesn't really buy much of anything, even back then. Alright. That's actually a cool little train. I like that one. Okay. So those wheels are actually, in other scenarios, they would actually be the wheel hubs in the bigger wheels, with bigger tires. Okay, so we've got this one, which is being made up of two smaller ones. There's probably a reason for the way they're doing these. I'm not entirely sure. So I missed that whole sitting down and playing cards thing. And it wasn't just... See, if Jay hadn't caught it, this step... Oops, sorry, I can't point, because that's not going to work. The step on the right wouldn't have worked as well, because things would be hanging off the rails. So, kudos to Jade. Jade? Jay. Sorry, both are in the stream or have been at some point today, and that... Yeah. Okay, so we had a hydrate. I might need to go for a coffee dip as well, just because the mouth ain't working. Right. Yes. Uno can be a lot of fun. Jay, did you buy the original? As in just Uno? Or did you buy one of its very, very many offshoots? Our family absolutely loves Uno. Just Uno? Excellent, great place to go. Basically, have you ever played Crazy Eights or Wild Eights? With a regular deck of cards? In essence, it's just a commercial version of that. Couple of minor rules changes. Now, there's always a gazillion house rules that people add to it. Excuse me. There's always a gazillion house rules that people add to the Uno game. But, as I understand it, the default is virtually Crazy Eights. I'm just going to twist these, partly because they're in the way, but partly because I can't quite see them. The shadows are a little fussy. So, dark blue pieces are wrong? Did I? Sorry, I saw Osmond come through and I love to read what Osmond says, because sometimes it's so irrelevant, but this is hilarious. It was actually hit on. The dark blue pieces... Oh, did I maybe just turn it the wrong direction? Yeah, I did. Okay, so one of the dark blue pieces is wrong. Oh, it's not wrong once you actually get it onto the train piece. Okay, that's not too bad. In with my magical round to it that I should make at some point. I have plans for a paperweight, but it's one of those, you know, maybe I will, maybe I won't things. No, well, actually, you didn't really see it wrong, Jade, or Jay. I'm gonna mess this up all stream. My UK buddy, there we go. But it looks to me in the instructions like they've actually had you build it with the top piece around the other way and then put it on in this direction. And that's what I think threw both of us. So this one has the mint. I'm going to try and do it in the direction of the picture towards the camera, more or less. Okay, so I'm seeing this. And they are putting it on the gift such that it's in opposition direction to the bottom ones. Ah! I was curious why they didn't use the same piece on top of the below gold package, and now I can see why. Because it doesn't... The other pieces would not have allowed me to offset the stack quite the same way. There we go, that's better. They're almost sideways on. I don't know what I did with the camera today. It's a little bit screwball. Alright, and then the second one has a mint piece. And that one is put on differently than the rest of the boxes. This way. Okay, I'm holding it that way. Green goes up there. In relation to... See, now it does look like it's wrong, doesn't it? You're right. You are right, and I am entirely wrong. Yeah. Okay. There we go. Trying to figure out what on earth was the problem. Huh. Okay. I have to go back and check something because... Pull this one off in order to twist the other one. This way. There we go. Jay to the rescue again. Wow. We haven't even got very far. I'm mildly amused and find it slightly ironic that the two steps I've messed up on were step number 69 and the one on page 69. And I'm totally not even thinking in that direction. So this one curves that way. Okay. I think we've got it. Ah! Okay. Camera, don't be dumb. Okay. I'm saying okay a lot, which is just not what anybody needs. This one, and then that one. Well, it forced it. That wasn't what I was looking for. Autofocus. Better. Ish. Come on. Oh, it's got reflection off the train. That's what the problem is. Okay. Cross our fingers. So we've got that one, and then this mint one does seem to go on in a different direction. I'm gonna go this way. I mean, I could always pull a DC and be like, I do what I want, but there's no need. And now this whole shebang clips in behind. There. All right, and then we do have a second booklet and a third bag, which means we are not done the pain yet. Actually, I'm enjoying this. I'm just being a little bit fussy because I am Distracted Monkey. It's, you know, I didn't even put the front of the train on. Like, we built it and it's been sitting there. That's better. All right. Confusing. Yes, indeed. So we have a train with its coal car of gifts, and now we're going to build some more cars. So I'm going to set the train over here, just for now. And we'll get the other booklet. Sorry, distracted because the back of the booklet has a flying hippo. Whatever. Booklet 2 of the train is probably going to be just that car in the back, I suspect. And this one is going to sit flatter for us, which is nice. So we'll start it with the rock, and then we'll move to the tripod thing if we need to. I swear, this autofocus is going to kill me. Yeah, it's terrible. Yes. When all those fails, change apps. Move these spares. Do 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 do. Do do do. So Jay saw it right. Dylan saw it wrong. What's going to happen in bag 3? I had two different things just occur to my head and then promptly cross themselves. Adjustments? For you. Okay. Apparently that's going to decide that the camera is in the wrong spot. It's fine. We'll go with it. It seems to autofocus control better. Control the autofocus better? Yes. By the way, I do still have my other 3 hats just sitting on the side. And no, we're not talking pirate hats. I just happened to grab this one first. So, they're available if people would prefer different. Because I know I'm like... NVIDIA is doing a great job of green screening me out, so kudos to them. But sometimes things just randomly disappear. It doesn't like black. I don't know why it doesn't like black. All right. So I'm going to play with the camera just a bit here. Or not. Yeah, it's going to make even less sense. But that's okay. It's more the place where I've been working, because I've been pulling it down close to me, and that's not helping. Alright, so we've got ourselves a block. It's doing the same thing again. What is the point of step 72 when 73 just tells us to put the rest of them on? So the two musical things that have occurred to me and then promptly blended themselves in my head, which is kind of odd, is being Christmas, every year I watch one of two films, Mrs. Santa Claus or the Muppet version of Charles Dickens' Christmas Carol. And like the Muppet sing-along, whatever, singy dancy thing. I love musicals, and that's partly why I love this one, but it's not because of anything else. I also like Michael Caine. And he decided to try and act as though the Muppets were real when they were doing things on set together. Of course, knowing that that's not the case, but which is great because behind the scenes rumors of various different Muppet situations have it that plenty of the actors, the voice people for the Muppets and the puppeteers, actually try to stay in character even between scenes, so there's not just a puppet on their hand that stops when the director shouts cut. So all kinds of crazy behind the scenes antics happen, but that makes it easier for the actors, the real human ones, to continue doing their roles. Once again, apologies for the glare. So he was trying to do his best to make sure he pretended they were real, which is easier when you've got the larger characters in the scenes. For example, in the Muppet Christmas Carol, we have the Ghost of Christmas Present. And it was kind of neat because puppeteering had moved on enough by that point that there's actually quite a lot of audio animatronics inside the head of the Ghost of Christmas Present, where the voice actor inside was getting mic'd, as well as actually had control of a lot of the major features of the character to make the mouth move in time with what he was saying appropriately, whereas a lot of the external features for eyebrows and hair and stuff was being remote controlled by some guy on the side. And although they practiced it lots and lots, there's always going to be a micro delay when that's the case, just because the guy outside has to hear what's been said and know what the line is next to try and anticipate what's going to be the appropriate facial expression. But it made it easier for Michael Caine to be able to act along with the character. But anyway, so I've got the music from the Muppet Christmas Carol stuck in my head, but I've also been interested in and investigating a couple of different video games. One of which was Dreamlight Valley, and that's what I got myself addicted to last night. Adds in too! But the other one was also, actually, I haven't tried it yet, but it's also available on Xbox Game Pass, is Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. And so, of course, the relatively standard indie theme, especially the version used in Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, which happens to be my favorite Indiana Jones movie. That sort of stuff does appear. So the two of them, I had one thing going on in my head from the Christmas Carol, which is totally not the music you're listening to, and then the other Indiana Jones thing just popped in, and the two of them kind of like blended one straight into the other. It's not the kind of blend that you could use when you, if you get the chance, look up Carol of the Bells and Imperial March, like from Star Wars, and listen to that. That's a really interesting combination. So Geek Out has rolled. Disney Live Action named 2 actors who voiced characters in The Lion King. I'll take James Earl Jones, but as I understand it, I don't think he reprised his role when they did the live action version of The Lion King. And I remember thinking, oh, well, they've got some well-known actors, but now I can't remember for the life of me who any of them are. So as in Jonathan Taylor Thomas was involved in the animated version. And one of the things Taylor Thomas is famous for is his time on Home Improvement with Tim Allen.
Welcome.
I mean, I could be wrong, and maybe it's actors that I hadn't heard of in the live-action version. But yeah, I will take, just because it's Christmas, why not? We'll mess it up in whatever you think it is, as long as you're willing to say, hey, I thought it said blah, 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 then we can go with whatever you thought it said. And we'll just roll them on through. So, in that case, James Earl Jones is a fantastic one. I mentioned Jonathan Taylor Thomas. I am a huge sucker for anything and everything involving Nathan Lane. here's a random Nathan Lane-esque tangential party, did you know? Well, now you know whether you wanted to or not kind of piece is that I don't know how many of you have seen The Birdcage as a movie with Nathan Lane and Robin Williams. Initially, Nathan Lane wasn't supposed to be in the film.
Ads are starting. Dylan will continue the
he wasn't
conversation
supposed to
after
be
the
in the
ads are
film at
over.
all.
Thank you for supporting the stream.
It was actually going to be Robin Williams playing the role that Nathan Lane played. That was the original plan. But then I guess barely into the shooting, something happened, and there was a schedule conflict or something. But the guy who played the role that was it? So I think it's Armand. And they had a huge role shuffle, so Robin Williams had to relearn all his lines to play the one he ended up playing in that movie. And then they brought in Nathan Lane for the other character. So it was an interesting twist. And I wish I remembered all of that, because as soon as I started telling you the story, enough of it went out of my head that I couldn't complete, which is too bad. Too bad, so sad. But that's better than completely forgetting where I was at in the middle of the Lego. I've done that on occasion. So the ads, I don't know how accurate those ads are in terms of timing. I've had situations recently where I've seen it on my stream and on other people's streams, where clearly the streamer thinks there's an ad, and it turns out there isn't. So in our case, what you'll see is Osmond might start notifying you, the countdown, there's going to be ads in 2 minutes, etc., because that's from one part of his instructions, his script. But then he may suddenly not tell you there is an ad. And you guys won't actually get an ad. So it's likes, and that's what happens when somebody snoozes the ad. However, on the Twitch side... Nice, Mike! That's a great one for this time of year. That is so much fun. Yeah. Exactly. I got totally ahead of the instructions, didn't I? Wow. Bad, Dylan. Bad. This one. Okay. More of these things on top. Let's see if Jade and I can get them right. Just kidding. Jay, you're gonna have to smack me upside the head verbally if I do that again. Okay, so flip this one over. But we've got the blue wedges. I'm thinking Lego, which is part of why I've got Maribel Jade on the brain. And that's just because of that Lego connection. But J1976, is who I'm trying to talk to today. And my brain and my mouth are doing two different things. Okay. I would love to see how you chose to lay out your Hogsmeade Village. I don't think I've ever posted in Discord a picture of mine. So if you would love to put yours up, that's great. One of the things I've started doing with a lot of those sets is when they have a, decorative piece that they've got, goes with it, say a bench or a signpost or whatever that has a base with a couple of studs available, then I like to just clip as many of the characters, like the minifigs, to it as I can, just so that when I'm moving things around in the room, I don't drop everything on the floor or don't bump the shelf and knock things over. Not so good in my minor Diagon Alley layout, but definitely useful there. Exactly, they are both incredibly amazing people, Fantastic Sherlock Fox. They are both fantastic. Well, but I'm mixing people's names up today. I do want to know that question. Okay, there's a good example of Delenn being spaced. Is I just tried to put my mouse up and roll the instruction page forward like you do with a PDF. Oh boy. It's one of those hold on to your hat kind of days. Anyhow, I love that build. Sorry, the sigh came from the fact that I'm trying to focus, because some of the tunes in the playlist we've got going have words, then I have not put my monitoring on at my end, so I'm actually not listening to any music right now. You know, I will later. But because of that, actually, let's put this one on the bottom, and we'll do the top one. Because of that, I have this other soundtrack going on in my head, as we mentioned earlier. And the frown was that the one catchy tune that got stuck in my head for a split second there was, well, still is there, Earworm, is a tune that I swear I have seen filmed, but nobody believes me. I shouldn't say nobody believes me. They believe me now because I've told the story so many times, but there's no proof anywhere that it's been released. So I don't know where I got that from, because there is a possibility I invented it. But we've talked about this in the past, last year I think, in the Muppet Christmas Carol. I think we're working on a Christmas tree. In the Muppet Christmas Carol, there's a scene where Beaker, which you don't see very often, and Benson Honeydew, scientist, there you go, are both, like, they're trying to they're the ones who are being the guys campaigning for the poor and the homeless, and that's where the bit about the workhouses and stuff comes from Scrooge at that point. But there's a song about people changing, and I've heard it on the soundtrack, so the official soundtrack says the song exists, but I swear I've seen it on screen, including some choreography by Michael Caine. Not by Michael Caine, but like him dancing. And I can picture it clear as day. I can even picture sitting in the theater next to my mom as our row of people when we watched it. But nowhere on the internet does that scene seem to exist. So that's what makes me wonder if I fabricated it. Because I do have, I wouldn't say an ability, the curse, maybe, of being able to extrapolate things a little too realistically. Yeah. The PDFs usually do have the progress bar at the bottom as well, but they're just so tiny on the screen you guys don't get to see them. So the progress bar that Jay's referring to is this blue line on the bottom here. On a lot of the instruction sets we have, if you pay attention, you'll see there is a progress bar there as well, but they have often a little minifig instead of just a stud on top of it. It's a little nondescript minifig. It's not even one from the set as such. And, yeah. You know, I understand why they made the tree the way they did, but there is no opportunity to offset the parts of the tree. As I said, I understand why they made it the way they did with the 4 studs at the top, so it's usable for other things and so on. But it would have been nice if it was a single stud so you could rotate these offset from one another. Oh well. The whole tree can rotate because it's on a rotating base, so that's fine. Okay, and it wriggles as you drive. And that's it, I guess. Okay, well. Slightly shorter than usual, but that's alright. Let's clip this one on. And turn her over. Yeah, there we go. Alright. That's it. that's all she wrote. Yeah, parts list and all. All right, so my turn. Just to say thank you everybody for coming out today. I know it's a bit of a shorter stream, but I I bungled it to start with, and then I just could not resist completing the train. I would love to go longer and have something else in the works, but I don't at the moment. After season, we're most likely going to start switching Mondays over. Not hating. Do I want another set? You know what? Actually, I have a funny feeling Fox and I had the same set in mind. Okay, I've got one more holiday one. Yeah, we're gonna switch this one. Okay, and I can. Well, and I'm pretty sure I can blast that one through in 45. So let's just go with it. Okay, I've got one more set. I have. Actually, I'm going to touch base with Fox and see what he's got. If not, I've got another plan. So give me a quick be right back, and I will be with you in just a shake.
Let's go outside. The snow is falling down, and every child is having so much fun. The snowman is twice the size.
J1976 just redeemed Hangman game.
We're holding hands to keep each other warm while we stand and watch a choir performing all the Christmas songs that we love. Yeah, all the Christmas songs that we love. And in a while we're gonna go inside and drink our chocolate by the fire. 'Cause all I want is to spend this day with you. Let me give you a Christmas moment we'll fill with love and joy. So beautiful, kissing on a mistletoe, baby, with you. I don't need any presents as long as I spend this day with you. So beautiful, kissing on a mistletoe, baby, with you. I'm making plans for what we're gonna do. I feel so blessed that I can be with you. 'Cause God knows that I've been longing for you. I just wanna hold you close. You know the stars are shining just for you. Let's take a walk and we can follow the moonlight till we reach a place we can stay. Maybe kiss a bit and dream away. And in a while we're gonna go inside and drink our chocolate by the fire. 'Cause all I want is to spend this day with you. Let me give you a Christmas moment we'll fill with love and joy. So beautiful, kissing on a mistletoe, baby, with you. I don't need any presents as long as I spend this day with you. So beautiful, kissing on a mistletoe, baby, with you. And in a while we're gonna go inside and drink our chocolate by the fire. 'Cause all I want is to spend this day with you.
All right, guys. I'm going to just switch over here to the chat screen for just a split second. Check. This one out of the way. Yep. You get to see my messy room. Nope, that didn't help either. Okay, I was going to try and let you get the hangman. Do I have a? Let's go with. Yeah, let's go there. Okay. Oh, wrong one. Aha. Maybe? Okay. We're gonna go here so you guys can finish the hangman game up, but I think I'm actually gonna call it. Just because we've got things to do, places to be, and don't want to spoil anything I shouldn't be spoiling, because I also was thinking the set Fox has is one that's not Christmas themed, so let's save it for after, because we're going to need to start winding things down. So the tail end of this is just to give you a quick state of the stream. And on Mondays, we're going to, if we have Lego, we'll probably be doing it once a month-ish. Yeah, more or less. If we have a big set that's worth doing back-to-back, sure. But we've got also things like the Streamcraft 73 Dadcraft and Friends community of people that will be doing the Bingo Championship of the World. That's going to be coming up in the new year. So I'll probably be doing the I'll probably be doing some bingo practice. What we're going to do with this one, though, is very solidly give it a hard cut. So bingos will be done with a hard cut saying, okay, in X amount of time, how many squares can I get? And just aim for personal best on that one. I did that a couple of times last season because my personal best on completing the card was so terrible. There were a couple times we got close, and I let that bait me into start going for a whole card, which doesn't work. So we're going to do that. And any of those days, it'll be a single card, followed by, like on a non-Lego day, followed by, okay, it's repeat. I'm going to back it up. Yip, 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 yip. So, if we have Lego, we're going to do some Lego, and I'm going to try and spread those out because it gets expensive. No offense intended to anybody, but it gets expensive. So, when we're not doing Lego, we'll do a bingo card to start with a solid cutoff point. It's probably going to be an hour, but not an hour by like the stream clock, as in, right now it's nearly 25 past kind of thing. It'll be an hour of gameplay, but a really solid end. And whatever happens at that point, that's it. We're cutting it. We're seeing how many things we got. So then we can have predictions based on, not a will she complete, because we know we won't, but a more than X, less than X type of thing. After that, for the rest of those streams, we're going to have those switch over into being some modded. I am looking at which mod pack I want to do. I jumped into Java Minecraft. I was on tablet. I jumped into Java Minecraft because I wanted to try out this SevTech gated package. I'm not settled on that one as one to return to and see where it's at these days, but something gated along those lines might help. Just because when we've been doing mod packs and following sort of a track of what we need to do to get to the next spot, then that really seems to work for me. And that allows me to be more chilled, more focused on Mondays. So I'm going to look over the holidays into which pack I want to do, but that's where we're headed. The other 2 days of the week will still be Wednesday and Thursday at 2 hours apiece. Hard cut, or as hard as possible cut on those, just because I don't feel that I can maintain enough good focus or stretch out the stuff that I have going on the rest of the week enough to chatter about it for too much longer than that on any one sitting. So we'll have the Wednesdays and Thursdays being the Dadcraft 73 Java server, and we're going to get back to the projects and stuff we've done. I won't have touched them in the meantime. So we still have the glove to work on. We still have the Helter Skelter to work on. We've still got a pixel art to work on. That sort of thing. So all of that. Oops. So all of that to say, plans for the new year, goals for the new year, and thank you everybody for sticking with me. Everybody that's come in with the raids, I've appreciated. It's always a treat, never required, and just want to wish you guys the happiest of holidays. And I may not see a bunch of you until the new year. I'm just looking at the dates here, just to make sure I don't cross my wires. Yeah. So I will not be streaming Wednesday or Thursday this week. And that's the end of that one. I think I'll be back on the 30th, but that's not a Java server stream. And then we'll see where we go after that. I don't know if I'll be streaming on the 2nd or the 1st. We'll have to see what everybody's household schedule is going on. So yeah, have a great one. Merry season, Happy New Year's, and have a great time. Bye-bye for now. Oh, I guess I should raid. Ha! I got into the spiel and didn't raid. What a fool. Okay, let's just see. Do we have anybody interesting? Wow. Trust me. More coffee. There will be more coffee. Okay, load the browser. Let's get awkward under wraps. And while we're doing that... No, stop telling me about that. I don't need that. You know what? I think I'm going to turn this train around. No bad puns intended. Okay, so if you're into sticking with the Dadcraft stream, I recommend you guys hit up Shinigami Moroku. He's playing Kingdom Hearts. But yeah, that's what he's got going. If you are going to follow the train, we are going to take our time and we're going to head back to Minecraft. And we're going to head ourselves over to Genfire. She's working on creative something. It says creative working. And I'm not sure what she's doing, but that's where we're headed. So hold on to your hats, seats, gifts, whatever, and have a great year. Let's get this raid started.
Someone's at the doorbell.
And apparently I can answer the door. Mischief managed indeed. So if you're the... Sure. That's wrong, but that's okay. If you're the type that likes emotes, they are there on the screen and messages for you. Otherwise, we're just going to head on in. Bye-bye, guys. Have a great year.
Transfer complete.